I woke up in a hospital bed with one kidney and divorce papers on my chest. My husband took my kidney. Then, he took everything else. But what he didn't know was that I would take it all back. If you're loving this story already, hit that like button, share with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe so you never miss what happens next. Let me tell you how it all started. My name is Aaliyah Everett. I used to believe in fairy tales. I used to believe that when you love someone with your whole heart, they love you back the same way. I was wrong. 2 years ago, I married Darius Everett. He was handsome. He smiled like sunshine. He told me I was the most beautiful woman in the world. His mother, Miss Vivian Everett, wore expensive dresses and big diamond rings. She smiled at me during our wedding, but her eyes were cold, like ice. I ignored the warning signs. We lived in a big house with white walls and a garden full of roses. Every morning, I made Darius breakfast. Every night, I waited for him to come home. I thought we were happy. Then one day, everything changed. Darius got sick. Very sick. He came home from work looking gray and tired. His skin turned yellow. His eyes looked empty. The doctors did tests. Lots and lots of tests. Then they told us the terrible news. Your kidneys are failing, the doctor said. You need a transplant or you will die. I felt my heart break into a million pieces.
Die?
My husband?
No.
I couldn't let that happen. Test me, I said immediately. I'll give him one of my kidneys. Darius looked at me with tears in his eyes. You would do that for me? Of course, I whispered. I love you. Miss Vivian patted my hand. What a wonderful wife you are, Aaliyah. Our family is so blessed to have you. But something in her voice felt wrong, like honey with poison hidden inside. The doctors tested me. My kidney was a perfect match. It was like fate, they said. Like we were meant to save each other. The surgery was scheduled for 3 weeks later. Those 3 weeks felt like a dream. Darius held my hand every day. He told me I was saving his life. He told me he would love me forever. Miss Vivian brought me expensive chocolates and fancy tea. She called me daughter and told everyone what a hero I was. Even Darius's fancy friend, Sabrina Vance, came to visit. She wore designer clothes and too much perfume. She smiled at me, but her smile didn't reach her eyes. You're so brave, Sabrina said, but the words sounded like an insult in her mouth. I ignored it. I was too focused on saving my husband. My best friend, Maya Brooks, was the only one who seemed worried. Are you sure about this? Maya asked me the night before surgery. That's a big sacrifice, Aaliyah. What if something goes wrong? Nothing will go wrong, I promised. I'm saving the man I love. That's all that matters. Maya bit her lip. She looked like she wanted to say more, but she just hugged me instead. I'll be here when you wake up, she promised. The surgery day arrived. I remember lying on the cold hospital table. I remember the bright lights above me. I remember the doctor's kind face as he told me to count backward from 10. 10, 9, 8. Then, darkness. When I woke up, everything was different. My body hurt. My side screamed with pain. I couldn't move without feeling like someone was stabbing me with hot knives. But that wasn't the worst part. The worst part was the envelope on my chest. My hands shook as I opened it. Inside were papers. Legal papers. Papers with big words like dissolution of marriage and irreconcilable differences. Divorce papers. My husband wanted a divorce. I gave him my kidney, and he wanted to leave me. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. I couldn't cry because crying hurt too much. The door opened. A nurse walked in. She saw my face and knew something was wrong. Are you okay, honey? She asked softly. My husband, I whispered. Where is my husband? The nurse looked uncomfortable. He left yesterday, right after his surgery was successful. He said he had important business. Important business. I saved his life, and he had important business. Maya came rushing in an hour later. When she saw the papers in my hands, her face turned red with anger. That monster, she hissed. That absolute monster. Aaliyah, we have to do something. We have to fight back.
How?
I whispered. I can barely move. I just gave him everything I had. What's left to fight with? Maya grabbed my hand.
You.
You're left. And you're stronger than you think. But first, we need a lawyer. A good one. That's when Maya called Lincoln Sterling. Lincoln Sterling was not what I expected. He was older, maybe 50. His suit was wrinkled. His tie had a coffee stain. His hair was messy. He looked tired, like he'd been fighting battles for 100 years. But his eyes were sharp, alert, like a hawk watching a mouse. He sat beside my hospital bed and listened to everything. He didn't interrupt. He didn't judge. He just listened. When I finished, he was quiet for a long moment. Then he said something that changed everything. This wasn't just betrayal, Lincoln said slowly. This was planned. This was a trap. And I'm going to prove it. How do you know? I asked. Lincoln pulled out a folder. Inside were papers. Lots of papers. I did some digging after Maya called me, he explained. Your husband filed these divorce papers 3 days before your surgery. He knew he was going to leave you. He planned this while you were preparing to save his life. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. 3 days before, while he was holding my hand, while he was telling me he loved me, while he was pretending to be grateful, he was planning to abandon me. There's more, Lincoln continued, his voice hard. Your house, the one you both own, was transferred into your husband's name alone last month. Your joint bank account was emptied 2 weeks ago. And there's a company, SR Bio, that received a large payment from your husband's family trust. I need to investigate what that company is. My hands curled into fists, even though it hurt. They stole from me, I whispered. While I was saving his life, they were stealing everything. Yes, Lincoln said simply. But here's what they don't know. Thieves always make mistakes. And I'm very good at finding mistakes. He looked at me with those sharp, tired eyes. This is going to be a fight, Aaliyah. A hard one. Are you ready? I thought about Darius's lies. I thought about Miss Vivian's fake smiles. I thought about how they used my love as a weapon against me. And something inside me changed. I wasn't sad anymore. I was angry. Yes, I said, my voice stronger than I'd heard it in weeks. I'm ready. Let's make them pay. Lincoln Sterling smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. It was the smile of a man who loves a good fight. Good, he said, because we're going to take them down. I spent 2 weeks in the hospital getting stronger. Every day, Maya visited me. She brought me soup and books and hope. Every day, Lincoln Sterling came with more papers. More evidence. More proof that my husband was a liar. But I didn't see Darius. Not once. He took my kidney and disappeared like smoke. Miss Vivian didn't visit either. The woman who called me daughter and brought me chocolates had vanished. Only Sabrina Vance came once. She stood in my doorway wearing a red dress that cost more than my car. I heard about the divorce, she said, her voice dripping with fake sympathy. I'm so sorry, Aaliyah. Sometimes men just change their minds. I stared at her. Something about the way she said it felt wrong. Like she knew something. Did Darius send you? I asked quietly. Sabrina's smile flickered. Just for a second. Of course not, she said quickly. I just wanted to check on you. After all, you've been through so much. Then she left. But Lincoln was waiting in the hallway. He followed her. That's the kind of lawyer Lincoln Sterling was. He didn't miss anything. When I finally left the hospital, Maya took me to her apartment. My house, the house I thought was mine, belonged to Darius now. I had nowhere to go. Stay as long as you need, Maya said firmly. We're going to win this, Aaliyah. I can feel it. The next day, Lincoln called an emergency meeting. We sat around Maya's small kitchen table. Lincoln spread out papers like he was building a puzzle. I found something big, he said, his tired eyes blazing with excitement. That company I mentioned, SR Bio. It's a ghost company. What's a ghost company? I asked. It's a fake company, Lincoln explained. It exists on paper, but it doesn't do anything. People use ghost companies to hide money, to move money where no one can see it. My stomach twisted. Darius's family used a ghost company? Not just his family, Lincoln said. Look at this. He pushed a paper toward me. It had fancy writing and official stamps. SR Bio received $200,000 from the Everett Family Trust 3 days after your surgery, Lincoln explained. And guess who owns SR Bio? I shook my head. Lincoln's smile was sharp. Sabrina Vance. Maya gasped. That woman who visited you in the hospital? She's part of this. She's not just part of it, Lincoln said darkly. She's a key player. Sabrina and Darius have been business partners for 2 years. They have 3 shell companies together. They've been moving money around like a magic trick. My hands started shaking.
Why?
Why would they do this? Lincoln pulled out another paper. This one made my blood run cold. Life insurance, he said quietly. Darius took out a life insurance policy on you 6 months ago. If you died during or after the surgery, he would receive $1 million. The room went silent. I couldn't breathe. He wanted me to die? I whispered. I think he hoped you would, Lincoln said gently. Kidney donation surgery is safe, but there are always risks. Complications. Infections. If something went wrong, he would be a rich widower. No divorce. No splitting assets. Just $1 million and everyone's sympathy. Maya's face turned white. That's not betrayal. That's murder. That's attempted murder. It's hard to prove in court, Lincoln admitted. But combined with everything else, the divorce papers filed before surgery, the ghost company, the emptied bank accounts, it paints a picture. A picture of a man who used his wife and planned to destroy her. I felt tears burning in my eyes, but I refused to let them fall. How do we prove it?
I asked.
How do we make people believe us? Lincoln leaned forward. We need Darius to confess. We need him to say it out loud. He'll never do that, I said hopelessly. He's too smart. Smart people make mistakes when they think they've already won, Lincoln said. And Darius thinks he's won. We're going to prove he's wrong. The plan was risky, maybe even dangerous. Lincoln had a friend who worked in audio equipment. He gave me a tiny recorder so small it fit in my pocket. Call Darius, Lincoln instructed. Tell him you want to meet. Tell him you'll sign the divorce papers without a fight if he just talks to you. One last conversation. He won't come, I said. He will, Lincoln promised. Because people like Darius love to gloat. They love to explain how clever they are. They can't resist. Maya held my hand. You don't have to do this, Aaliyah. We can find another way. But I thought about the kidney in Darius's body. My kidney. Keeping him alive while he tried to destroy me. No, I said firmly. I want to do this. I want to hear him say it. I want him to tell me the truth. So I called. Darius answered on the 3rd ring. His voice sounded healthy.
Strong.
Like he'd never been sick at all. Aaliyah, he said, surprised. I didn't expect to hear from you. I want to meet, I said, keeping my voice calm. Just once. To talk about the divorce. I'll sign the papers. I need to understand why. There was a pause. Then Darius said, Okay, tomorrow. The coffee shop on Market Street. 1 o'clock. My heart pounded. I'll be there. The next day felt like the longest day of my life. Lincoln checked the recorder 3 times. Maya made me practice what to say. We planned every word, every question. Stay calm, Lincoln coached. Let him talk. Ask open questions. Make him feel safe. People confess when they feel safe. I wore simple clothes, jeans, and a sweater. I wanted to look weak, defeated, like I'd given up. The coffee shop was busy. People typing on laptops. Friends laughing. Normal life happening all around us. Then Darius walked in. He looked good. Too good. His skin was healthy. His eyes were bright. My kidney had saved him. He sat down across from me and ordered an expensive coffee. You look terrible, he said, not unkindly. like he was observing the weather. I just had surgery, I replied quietly. I gave you my kidney, Darius. And you left me. He sighed. I know it seems cruel, Aaliyah, but sometimes things just don't work out. Things don't work out? I repeated. I saved your life. And I'm grateful, he said smoothly. Really, I am. But our marriage was already over. You must have felt it too. The lies came so easily to him. When did it end? I asked softly. When did you decide you didn't love me anymore? Darius looked out the window. Does it matter? It matters to me. He shrugged. If I'm being honest, I think it ended about a year ago. Maybe longer. But then I got sick, and, well, you were so willing to help. It seemed easier to wait until after the surgery. My fingernails dug into my palms. The recorder in my pocket felt like it was burning. Easier, I repeated. So you used me. Don't be dramatic, Darius said, irritated. You wanted to give me the kidney. Nobody forced you. And the house? I asked. The bank account? You took everything while I was recovering. For the first time, Darius looked uncomfortable. My mother handled those details, he said carefully. She was protecting the family assets during a difficult transition. Your mother, I said. And Sabrina? Darius's eyes narrowed. What about Sabrina? She came to visit me in the hospital, I said. She seemed very interested in how I was doing. Sabrina is a family friend, Darius said stiffly. She's been helping with some business matters. Business matters like SR Bio? I asked quietly. Darius went very still. His coffee cup stopped halfway to his mouth. How do you know about SR Bio? He asked, his voice dangerous now. I'd gone too far. But I couldn't stop. I know about the ghost company, I said. I know about the money transfer. I know about the life insurance policy you took out on me. Darius's face changed. The mask of politeness cracked. You've been digging, he said coldly. That was very stupid, Aaliyah. Was I supposed to die? I asked, my voice shaking. Was that the plan? Give you my kidney and then what? An infection? A complication? And you'd be rich and free? Darius leaned forward. His eyes were like ice. You are so easy, he hissed. So trusting. So desperate to be the hero. My mother said you'd do anything for love, and she was right. You gave me your kidney without even asking for a lawyer. Without protecting yourself. That's not my fault. That's your weakness. Every word felt like a stab, but the recorder caught every single one. So you used me, I whispered. You and your mother and Sabrina. You planned this. We planned to survive, Darius spat. Do you know how much kidney transplants cost? How much debt I was in? The life insurance was just insurance. If you died, great. If you didn't, well, at least I'd have my health and my freedom. He stood up. Sign the papers, Aaliyah. Take your loss like an adult. You've already lost everything. Don't lose your dignity, too. Then he walked out. I sat there shaking. But inside, I was smiling. Because we had everything on tape. Lincoln listened to the recording 3 times. Each time, his smile got bigger. This is gold, he said. Pure gold. This is confession, premeditation, and intent. We're taking this to court, and we're going to bury them. Maya hugged me tight. You were so brave, Aaliyah. So brave. But I didn't feel brave. I felt like I'd looked into the eyes of someone I loved and seen a monster instead. What happens now? I asked Lincoln. Lincoln's tired eyes blazed with something that looked like joy. Now, he said. Now we go to war. The courthouse was huge and scary. Tall, white columns. Marble floors that echoed when you walked. People in expensive suits rushing everywhere with important papers. I felt small standing there. But Lincoln Sterling put his wrinkled hand on my shoulder. Remember, he said quietly. They thought you were weak. They thought you'd give up. Show them how wrong they were. Maya squeezed my other hand. We're right here with you. No matter what happens. I took a deep breath and walked through those big doors. The courtroom was packed. News reporters sat in the back with cameras and notepads. People I'd never seen before filled the seats. Everyone wanted to see what would happen. On the other side of the room sat Darius. He wore an expensive suit, probably bought with MY money. His hair was perfect. He looked calm and confident. Next to him sat Miss Vivian Everett. She wore a black dress with pearls. Her face looked like it was carved from stone, cold and hard. Their lawyer was a tall man with slicked-back hair and a smile like a shark. But Sabrina Vance wasn't there. Lincoln had told me why. She fled to Europe, he'd explained. When she found out we had evidence, she ran. But we've filed for extradition. She can run, but she can't hide forever. The judge walked in. She was an older woman with gray hair and sharp, intelligent eyes. Everyone stood up. Court is now in session, she announced. Please be seated. My heart pounded so hard I thought everyone could hear it. The shark lawyer spoke first. Your Honor, he said smoothly. This is a simple divorce case. My client, Darius Everett, and his wife have grown apart. It's unfortunate, yes, but it happens to many couples. Mrs. Everett is simply upset and making false accusations because she's hurt. He made it sound so reasonable, so normal. Then Lincoln stood up. He looked rumpled and tired compared to the shark lawyer. His coffee-stained tie seemed almost funny next to all the expensive suits. But when he spoke, his voice was like thunder. Your Honor, Lincoln said, this is not a simple divorce. This is a case of calculated betrayal, financial fraud, and conspiracy. My client didn't just lose a marriage. She lost her kidney, her home, her savings, and nearly her life, all because of a carefully planned scheme. The judge leaned forward. Those are serious accusations, Mr. Sterling. I hope you have proof. Lincoln smiled. Your Honor, I have more than proof. I have a confession.
The courtroom gasped.
Lincoln called his first witness, me. I walked to the front on shaking legs. I put my hand on the Bible and swore to tell the truth. The whole truth. And nothing but the truth. Lincoln asked me gentle questions. He let me tell my story. I talked about falling in love with Darius, about our wedding, about the roses in our garden. Then I talked about the sickness, about how scared I was, about how I begged to be tested as a donor. Did anyone force you to donate your kidney? Lincoln asked. No, I said clearly. I wanted to save my husband's life. I loved him. When did you find out about the divorce? My voice cracked. I woke up from surgery. I could barely move. There were papers on my chest. Divorce papers. He filed them 3 days before my surgery. People in the courtroom whispered. The shark lawyer stood up. Objection. The timing of the divorce filing is irrelevant. Overruled. The judge said, her eyes cold. Continue, Mr. Sterling. Lincoln showed the court documents. Medical records. Surgery dates. Divorce filing dates. Everything was there in black and white. Then he dropped the bomb. Your Honor, I'd like to present evidence of a life insurance policy taken out by Darius Everett on his wife 6 months before her surgery. He handed papers to the judge. The judge read them. Her face got darker with every word. $1 million, she read aloud. Beneficiary, Darius Everett. This policy was taken out when Mrs. Everett was perfectly healthy, and it had a special clause covering surgical complications. The courtroom exploded with noise. The judge banged her hammer. Order. Order in this court. Darius's face had gone white. Miss Vivian sat frozen like a statue. Lincoln wasn't done. Your Honor, I also have evidence of financial fraud. The Everett family transferred $200,000 to a ghost company called SR Bio, owned by Sabrina Vance, immediately after the surgery. They also emptied joint bank accounts and transferred the marital home into Darius Everett's name alone, all while my client was recovering from surgery. He showed bank statements, property records, company documents. Everything was connected like pieces of a puzzle. The shark lawyer was sweating now. Your Honor, these are just business transactions. Perfectly legal. Legal, perhaps, the judge said icily. But ethical? We'll see. Then Lincoln played his final card. Your Honor, I have a recording of Darius Everett confessing to the entire scheme. With your permission, I'd like to play it for the court. The judge nodded. Play it. The courtroom went silent. Then Darius's voice filled the room. You were so easy, so trusting, so desperate to be the hero. You gave me your kidney without even asking for a lawyer, without protecting yourself. That's not my fault. That's your weakness. People gasped. My mother said you'd do anything for love, and she was right. Miss Vivian's stone face cracked. She looked terrified. The life insurance was just insurance. If you died, great. If you didn't, well, at least I'd have my health and my freedom. The recording ended. Silence. Then the courtroom erupted. Reporters scribbled frantically. People shouted. Camera flashes went off. The judge banged her hammer over and over. Order. I will have order. When everyone finally went quiet, the judge looked at Darius like he was something disgusting on her shoe. Mr. Everett, she said slowly, do you have anything to say in your defense? Darius opened his mouth, then closed it. He looked broken. He whispered. You didn't mean to get caught, the judge snapped. Mr. Everett, this is one of the most despicable cases I've seen in 30 years on the bench. She turned to Miss Vivian. Mrs. Everett, you raised a man who would use his wife's love as a weapon. You helped him steal from her while she recovered from surgery. You should be ashamed. Miss Vivian started to cry, real tears running down her cold face. But I felt nothing for her tears. She'd smiled at me, called me daughter, and planned my destruction. The judge's ruling was swift and severe. The divorce is denied, she announced. Furthermore, I'm ordering a full investigation into insurance fraud, financial fraud, and conspiracy. All assets will be frozen until this investigation is complete. She looked at me with kind eyes. Mrs. Everett, I'm granting you full ownership of the marital home. Your joint bank accounts will be restored with all funds returned. And I'm awarding you compensatory damages for pain, suffering, and medical expenses. Lincoln squeezed my shoulder. But the judge wasn't finished. Mr. Darius Everett, you are hereby ordered to pay restitution to your wife in the amount of $500,000. Additionally, I'm recommending criminal charges be filed for fraud and conspiracy. Darius collapsed in his chair. Miss Vivian sobbed loudly. The shark lawyer looked like he wanted to disappear. As for Sabrina Vance, the judge continued, I'm signing extradition papers immediately. She will face justice in this courtroom. The hammer came down. Court is adjourned. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed me. Mrs. Everett, how do you feel? What will you do now? Do you have a message for other women facing betrayal? Lincoln and Maya protected me, pushing through the crowd. But I stopped at the microphones. I had something to say. My husband took my kidney, I said clearly. He took my money. He took my home. He tried to take my life. The cameras flashed. But he couldn't take my strength. He couldn't take my courage. And he couldn't take my voice. I looked directly into the cameras. To every woman out there who's been used, betrayed, or made to feel weak, you are not weak. You are powerful. Don't let anyone tell you different. Fight back. Find people who believe in you. And never, ever give up. The crowd cheered. Maya was crying happy tears. Lincoln smiled his tired, proud smile. 6 months later, life looked different now. Sabrina was extradited from Europe and sentenced to 5 years in prison for fraud. Darius was facing criminal charges and lost everything, his reputation, his money, his freedom. Miss Vivian sold her big house and moved far away, broken and disgraced. And me? I stood in front of a brand new building with shiny glass windows. A sign above the door read, The Aaliyah Everett Foundation for Women's Rights. Maya stood beside me, now the foundation's director. Lincoln Sterling was on our board of advisors, still rumpled, still drinking coffee, still fighting for people who needed help. How does it feel? Maya asked. I touched my side where the surgery scar was. It didn't hurt anymore. It feels like I have two lives now, I said softly. The life before, when I was weak and trusting, and the life after, when I learned to be strong. One kidney, two lives, Lincoln said with a smile. One kidney, two lives, I repeated, and infinite strength. That night, I stood in my garden now, and looked at the roses. They were blooming again, red and beautiful and alive. Just like me. I thought about everything I'd lost, everything I'd won. I thought about forgiveness. Maybe someday I'd forgive Darius and Miss Vivian. Maybe not. But either way, I was free. Free to help other women. Free to build something meaningful. Free to live without fear. The stars came out above me, bright and endless. Thank you, I whispered to the universe. To Maya. To Lincoln. To the part of myself that refused to give up. Thank you for showing me that scars can become strength, that pain can become purpose, and that a broken heart can become a beacon of hope for others. I smiled up at the stars. My story wasn't a fairy tale. It was better. It was real. If this story touched your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Smash that like button if Aaliyah's courage inspired you. Share this story with every woman who needs to hear that she's stronger than she knows. Subscribe so you never miss stories of triumph, justice, and unstoppable strength. Comment below. What would you do if someone betrayed your trust like this? Let's talk about it. Remember, you are not your pain. You are not your scars. You are your courage. You are your strength. You are unstoppable. Keep fighting. Keep rising.
Keep shining.
This story is dedicated to every person who's been betrayed, used, or made to feel small. Your love was not weakness. Your trust was not foolishness. Your kindness was not stupidity. You are a warrior, even when you don't feel like one. And your story? It's not over yet. The best chapters are still to come.